Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in and checking out the video. So today's video is going to be talking about a very exciting fighter, a high-level grappling specialist, and a guy who you need to watch in the future if you're not already familiar with him, and that would be Khabib Nurmagomedov fighting out of Dagestan. Now, this is a guy in this video. I'm going to talk about some of the background of him, talk about how I got into the sport, in my opinion, and also give you guys some notable achievements so far in his MMA career. Now, how Khabib Nurmagomedov got into the sport, I would definitely say his father was a huge mentor and influence in that regard. His father competed in judo and also sambo at a very high level, and he then became a coach, and that is where Habib learned the fundamentals of sambo and judo from his father at a very young, early age. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Sambo, let me talk a bit about that. So, Sambo is an excellent MMA base, in my opinion, the best in the world. I'm going to tell you guys why. Because Sambo implements wrestling, ground control, it also implements trips, and leg locks is another thing they use. And also, Sambo is, even though it has a lot of grappling to it, they also implement striking. There's various different forms of sambo, but that is one thing that I really like that sambo has is they throw in striking as well in one of the options you can pick. Um, that is one thing that separates them from the rest of the other good grappling programs, say like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Judo, is that striking that the fighters come into the MMA game already with in their arsenal. I think that gives them a huge edge over people who are just doing regular grappling training. So I think that Sambo is an excellent base. You've seen some fighters in the octagon. Fedor Emelianenko had that base. Also Andrei Arlovsky, to name a few. And fighters from that region of the world, the reason why they're so successful, in my opinion, outstanding amateur programs along with excellent coaches. And Habib would definitely agree, I think, in that regard. His father would definitely, I say, be his mentor and got him into the sport of MMA and helped him be so successful in where he is. Now, moving on, let's talk about some of the achievements that Habib has accomplished inside MMA. This is a fighter who is on a 22 fight win streak. He also has the record for most takedowns in a fight with 21 takedowns, which is absolutely incredible. And when I look at him inside the octagon, victories over Gleison Tibau, he also defeated Pat Healy, and his biggest performance and best win would have to be against current UFC champion Rafael Dos Anjos. In that fight, he dominated Dos Anjos in every area of that match. He out wrestled him. He also landed more strikes than him. He pushed the pace, and it was extremely dominant performance against a UFC champion. And so I'd love to see a rematch down the road between those two guys. And also in the Pat Healy fight, Khabib had a huge moment in that fight where he just picked up Pat Healy, walked across the ring, and slammed him down like he was like a small child or something. It was crazy. So this is a guy you definitely do not want to miss inside the octagon. Extremely exciting fighter, very, very high level skill set. Some of the skills that I see him possessing when I watch him fight, he has a very good ground game on top. He uses his elbows. He has excellent cardio. He is a pressure fighter. And he is a guy with his takedowns. He has excellent strength. He just breaks fighters mentally. He keeps slamming them down, throwing them on the mat. He understands leverage, transitioning. His clinch game is good. He uses good judo. He just has all kinds of aspects to his game that if I don't think there's a fighter in the world, maybe you could argue Ronda Rousey, that has better grappling than Khabib Nurmagomedov does. Outstanding in all aspects of that grappling. Amazing fighter to watch. Just very, very high level. Usually I'm not a big fan of wrestling type of fighters or grappling, but the skill set that he has, and I like the Sambo background because Fedor Emelianenko is one of my favorite fighters of all time. So this is a guy to definitely watch. And he already has experience in big fights against good fighters. And down the road, he is training at AKA, which is an excellent gym in the United States with champion Cain Velasquez, great fighters like Luke Rockhold and Daniel Cormier. So his striking is going to develop down the road as well. And this is a guy you definitely do not want to miss. I'd like to hear from some of you guys who are fans of him, your favorite fights that he has, you have seen him in. and he is fighting Donald Cerrone next. Donald Cerrone, an excellent challenger for him. In my opinion, the best striker that Khabib has fought against. But this is a guy who's extremely tough. This is a guy who at 9 years old is wrestling against a bear. That's a video online you got to see. And outside of the cage, he's extremely funny. Follow his Twitter account. Very entertaining guy. And very humble as well, though. He doesn't forget that he's from Dagestan. He always wears his traditional Dagestan cap at the weigh-ins, if you ever see him wearing that. So this is a guy you do not want to miss in the future. Donald Cerrone fight is going to be great. I do have Khabib winning that fight. I will be doing a prediction on that matchup. But Cerrone, in my opinion, the best striker he has faced. So that is going to be an excellent matchup. And all the best to Khabib in the future. And I can't wait to see him fight more, guys. So thank you very much for tuning into the video. Much appreciated.